Everything you're standing on right now is moving at 1,000 miles per hour. You can't feel it. You can't see it. But it's happening, every single second of your life. Now imagine it just stops. Not forever. Not even for a minute. Just 5 seconds. I need you to understand, those 5 seconds would be the most catastrophic event in the history of human civilization. And the terrifying part? The planet itself would barely notice. Okay, let's get your brain in the right place before we go any further. Right now, Earth is spinning. It's been spinning for about 4.5 billion years, continuously, without a break, without slowing down in any way we'd ever notice in a human lifetime. At the equator, the surface of the Earth is moving at roughly 1,040 miles per hour. That's faster than most commercial jets cruise. You're on a rock hurtling through space, spinning like a top, and you feel absolutely nothing. Because everything around you is moving with you. That's the key word, with you. Now here's where it gets terrifying. If the Earth suddenly stopped, not slowed, not gradually wound down, but slammed to a halt in one instant, everything on the surface would keep moving. You would keep moving. At 1,000 miles per hour. This is pure Newton. First law of motion. An object in motion stays in motion unless acted on by an outside force. The Earth stops. You don't. In that split second, every human being on Earth, all 8 billion of us, would be launched like a ragdoll. No warning. No seatbelt. No airbag. Just sudden, violent, unstoppable momentum. You'd be flung eastward at over 1,000 miles per hour. Think about what that means for a second. You've probably been in a car accident, or at least felt a hard brake. At 30 miles per hour, a sudden stop throws you forward hard enough to crack a windshield. Now multiply that by 30. At 1,000 miles per hour, your body wouldn't just fall. It would disintegrate on impact. The friction alone against the air would be violent enough to cause serious damage before you even hit the ground. And when you do hit the ground would be moving toward you at the same speed. There's no surviving that. Not with current human biology. Not with any technology we have. But honestly, the people might be the least dramatic part of this story. Let's talk about the oceans. Water follows the same physics as everything else. Right now, Earth's rotation actually causes the oceans to bulge slightly at the equator. The water redistributes because of centrifugal force, the same reason a spinning pizza dough gets wider when you toss it. The equatorial oceans are sitting about 8 kilometers higher than they would be if the Earth weren't spinning. The moment the spin stops, that water has nowhere to go but somewhere else. Scientists estimate that colossal waves, not tsunamis, we're talking something entirely new, would surge toward both poles. We're talking walls of ocean water hundreds of feet tall, moving with unimaginable force, flooding the continents from the coasts inward. All of North America's coastlines, New York, Miami, Los Angeles, Seattle, gone. Submerged. In minutes. And here's the wild part, this wouldn't just happen once. When the Earth eventually resumes spinning, and we'll get to that, the water would slosh back. Back and forth, over and over, like water in a bowl you just shook. The flooding events would repeat for days or weeks before stabilizing. You think the ocean is bad? Meet the atmosphere. The air around you is also spinning with the Earth. It's being dragged along by the planet's rotation. Pull that away suddenly, and the atmosphere behaves like the oceans, except it moves faster and covers everything. The winds that would result wouldn't be hurricane-force winds. They wouldn't be tornado-force winds. They would be hypersonic. Wind speeds at the equator would instantly ramp up toward 1,000 miles per hour, that's well past the speed of sound. We're talking about a planet-wide shockwave of air that would flatten every structure humans have ever built. Mountains would act as barriers, but the air would pour around and over them, superheated and turbulent. Cities? Gone. Forests? Gone. Every human structure on the surface of the planet stripped down like paint off a car in a sandblaster. And we're still only 5 seconds in. Now let's go underground. Earth's core is molten iron and nickel, spinning independently of the surface, and it's that spinning that creates our magnetic field. Our magnetic field is what protects us from the sun's radiation. It's the reason life was able to evolve on this planet at all. A 5-second surface stop wouldn't instantly kill the core's rotation. But it would send shockwaves deep into the mantle, the thick, semi-molten rock between the core and the crust. The stress on the tectonic plates would be unlike anything in Earth's recorded history. You'd be looking at simultaneous earthquakes across every fault line on the planet. The biggest earthquakes ever recorded by humans, like the 1960 Chilean quake, a 9.5, would look like a minor tremor compared to what would ripple through the crust in those 5 seconds. Volcanoes that have been dormant for thousands of years would destabilize. Supervolcanoes like Yellowstone, the ones that, if they fully erupt, change the global climate for a decade, would be under enormous new pressure. We're now looking at a planet that is simultaneously flooding, blowing apart at the surface, shaking itself to pieces underground, and possibly triggering volcanic winters that would block out the sun. Let's bring this back to human scale for a second, because I think that's where this really hits. In 5 seconds, the death toll would likely be in the billions. Not from one thing, from everything happening at once. The people who somehow survived the initial launch. Maybe they were in a deep underground bunker, maybe pure dumb luck, they'd emerge into a world that is fundamentally unrecognizable. The power grid? Destroyed. Every infrastructure system that modern civilization depends on, water treatment, hospitals, food supply chains, communication networks, all of it wiped out in the first minute. And here's the thing that doesn't get talked about enough, the psychological devastation. Humans are wired to find stability in their environment. The ground is supposed to be still. Gravity is supposed to pull you down. When those assumptions shatter, not metaphorically, but literally, the psychological trauma would be unlike anything we've ever studied or treated. The survivors wouldn't just be picking up the physical pieces. They'd be rebuilding their entire understanding of reality. Here's the part most people don't think about. We said 5 seconds. So the Earth stops for 5 seconds, and then what? Does it start spinning again? Does it just stay still? If it stopped and stayed stopped, within weeks to months, the side of the Earth facing the sun would heat to extreme temperatures, over 100 degrees Celsius in some places. The dark side would plunge toward negative 100 degrees Celsius. Earth would essentially split into a scorched hemisphere and a frozen one, with a narrow habitable band running along the dividing line. If it starts spinning again, especially suddenly, you repeat the catastrophe in reverse. Another 1,000 miles per hour whiplash. Another round of hypersonic winds. Another ocean surge. The Earth resuming spin might actually kill anyone who survived the stop. Now here's what I want to leave you with, because this shouldn't just scare you, it should blow your mind in the best possible way. None of this is happening. Earth is not stopping. The physics that keep it spinning are stable, reliable, and have been for billions of years. The planet is not slowing in any way that would matter for millions of years to come. But here's the thing. The fact that all of this doesn't happen, every single day, without fail, is a miracle so enormous that most of us never think about it for even 1 second. You woke up this morning. The ground was where you expected it to be. The air was still. The ocean was in its place. The sun rose on schedule. And underneath all of that quiet, stable morning, there was a planet spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, an atmosphere being dragged along with it, oceans held in place by centrifugal force, and a magnetic field generated by a spinning iron core keeping the radiation of space from frying you alive. Every ordinary day is a system of almost incomprehensible complexity working in perfect harmony. You're not just living on Earth. You're living because Earth never stopped. So the next time you feel the ground under your feet, just remember what it's actually doing. And maybe, just maybe, appreciate the fact that it's still going. If this broke your brain a little, good. Share it. Because everyone deserves to have their reality rocked at least once today.